You are watching Around the Base Sports. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on our Instagram page. Enjoy the show, and we are all.
I'm Drew.
I'm Jack.
I'm Amon, and this is
Around.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in. A World Cup edition, we could say, of Around the Base Sports. In case you saw our new little logo we have, we got to keep the theme going of all the sports that are happening. As we know, we will mention about the World Cup, as sadly enough, it's slowly approaching the end. We've got 2 more weekends left. The next weekend, it all wraps up for third place and the grand finale of one of the biggest sports in the world. Sports events in the world. So yeah, guys, what do you think of the World Cup so far as it sadly approaches?
I mean, so far the World Cup's been very entertaining, as it usually is, like every single year. But it's kind of sad because usually around this time, normally like every year, that like when the World Cup's not going on, this is baseball, and then like use some NFL stuff and all that. But besides that, it's been very entertaining, and I think it's been a very very great World Cup, even though there's been some disappointing results. But at the end of the day, it's been very entertaining, very fun to watch.
I think it's been entertaining. Like everyone says, it's been entertaining this year. Every year it's been entertaining, Like this year, we sent to 32, but, it's money wise. But, it's been an interesting year seeing some teams that we never heard of and, make it to this far. And, we'll see from it's gonna suck in a week and a half from now. So, but it's good. Yeah, but it's been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it's been quite a blast. And if you love soccer, you don't love soccer. It's been a hell of a ride. This has been the most interesting one, as we know right now. France beat Morocco 2-0. So Mbappe going through every team because we probably know he wants Messi. He wants the run back from last time they met, which was the finale of the previous World Cup. But we'll talk more of the World Cup as we continue. But I have something to share, folks. The women's sports has been growing year by year, you could say. Now we're going to the point where we know there's a professional kind of like hockey league been happening, but now the women's sports has touched baseball. Specifically, the women's professional baseball league. And just today, they just released the 4 teams that will participate in Springfield, Illinois. Team in New York, Boston, LA, and here the Bay. But no, and they're going to be all playing in one spot in Springfield, Illinois. And I just thought to talk about this real quick because the WNBA, it's been growing a lot. A lot of people have been watching that. A lot of people have been watching that more through the years. That the growth there is growing. Even softball, people watch that, and now trying to go for this whole professional standpoint, and now it's finally touched baseball. So here are the teams. So on the left, New York, they're called the New York Heights, and they're built around ambition, intensity, and relentless standards associated with New York. And the Heights demand excellence. So they got this name from a person named Dorothy Height, who it's their namesake, and I read that she was like a civil rights, I don't know, advocate or a leader. So with that whole of like New York City, it's kind of like she can be ready to like rise of the occasion, like the heights of like New York, pretty much. The next team, Boston, called the Boston Hunters. And this is an interesting story. So the name was inspired by a person named Harriet Hunt, who who was a trailblazer physician, and she was one of the first women to practice medicine professionally in the U.S. despite being denied admission twice to Harvard twice just because of her gender. So think of that for a second. In that time, so the Boston Hunters, like that name? That's a nice name. And now our Bay Area team, the San Francisco Firebells, just like firefighters, you could say.
Wait, the one?
Firebells, but as in firefighters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting name. I was like, that's an interesting name. So the story is, or how they got to the name of a young teenage, no, a young teenage named Lily Firebell Lil Hitchcock, coined the famously left. She was in her, I guess, interactions. She always famously leaped into action. She acts and helped San Francisco San Francisco volunteer firefighters by battling a blaze on Telegraph Hill, and she became an icon for the firefighters, known for her rebellious attitude and open defiance of the gender norms of that time. And like herself for the team, they show up, they show out, bring out the energy, the pride, and the ambition with every time they hit the field. So when they come in, they're ready to play. They have that fire. They have like that fiery spirit. And lastly, L.A., the South Bay. They call themselves the Los Angeles Queens. And they got the name from a person named Lizzie Murphy, because for a woman, because in the women in pro sports in that time were extremely limited, showing the world how true talent rises to the top. And they carried the name, the Queen's name of the Diamond Legacy, channeling confidence, ambition, and style. And it's time to claim that throne. So anyway, I just thought to share, because it's just a 4-team. This is just it. 4 teams. They'll face each other each time in August at Springfield, Illinois. And it just caught my eye, and I just thought to share. You could do a little more research about this, but it's just, I thought it was interesting, and just thought, I know we like baseball, we like football, but just kind of just female sports in general has been growing exponentially through the years, and I just thought another growth has occurred. Either way, anyway, I just thought to share that. Let's get to the day of hand, shall we? The King. We go to the NBA here. The King has revealed 3 locations that you might go to: Philly, Cleveland, and maybe potentially Miami. So coincidence there with Miami and Cleveland, and maybe not. And then we've got Philly. And you're probably thinking, what about the Warriors? Well, right now at this point, we got to sell a pitch. And I read, and I saw an alert on ESPN where ESPN wanted to know what Curry's thoughts were, and he just said he kind of ignored it and just pretty much saying he just likes playing golf. So he's kind of trying to ignore all this whole speculation on LeBron joining the Warriors. But then he did say if he wanted to do a sales pitch, he said a certain word. I don't have on my notes, but you guys know what word he said when he
wouldn't mind it. He wouldn't mind it.
That is pretty much he wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, that's all he said. And
he said a certain word other than I or an L, but inquiry. No, I don't know. But what do you? So what are your guys' thoughts now? We got some LeBron news. He's slowly making his decision, and surely enough, who knows? It could be the Warriors, but who knows? But So far, the three teams he's likely or aiming for is Philly, Cleveland, and Miami.
I don't know, I think it's very interesting. Of all like the three, the Sixers are definitely like the big question mark. Um, I honestly, and you calling kind of blasphemous for calling this, but damn it, I think he should go to the Wizards
Interesting.
because they got Trey Young, you got Anthony Davis, and you got the AJ DeBonsa kid. With those four, that can actually be extremely promising. So I mean, I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but it's kind of crazy to me because I'm also like a DC and all that stuff. But I mean, I don't think it's a horrible idea.
Yeah, it's not
But um,
Not horrible, but
but now as for the three in chronological order, I can either see him. The only two teams I can really see him going to are either the Heat or the Cavs. If he goes to the Heat, he's probably going to win the championship. But if he goes to the Cavs, then he'll just run it back one year, probably come short of the playoffs and retire.
I see that. I can see that.
Yeah, and thanks to that almost kind of confirms it because I don't know if you guys all saw the Donovan Mitchell had that giant contract he got.
Which is no brainer.
That could also be a part of it.
Yeah, because they haven't signed James Harden because they're just thinking if LeBron wants to go to Cleveland, then it's like Harden, you go somewhere else. Spread your drama somewhere else, and someone will be willing to act on it. But yeah, Drew, what's your thoughts? Just like I know those are the three teams, but let's just say like Jack went out saying Washington. So what do you think? What's your fantasy like if it's not the Warriors?
it's not the Warriors. I mean, it's interesting that he, lists the teams that are in the East Conference. So he's pretty in not rule the East, pretty much. Pretty much, he's what he's saying. He can pretty much go have a better chance to go in the finals on the Eastern Conference team than going on Western Conference team. But in terms of teams that that's not the Warriors. I mean, which is not a bad choice, but I mean, I can. I'm gonna say, I don't know. To me, it's like if he goes to Sixers, like the Heat or Sixers, you're probably winning the championship, and then like the Cavs, like maybe I'll retire. This is where I'm gonna end, my legacy. Just go there. But in terms of teams outside the Warriors, I feel like the Mavs needs some veteran players. So I feel like he can teach Cooper Flag, re-up Kyrie, but
The Mavs, yeah, that'd be something like that.
teach Cooper Flag, mentor Cooper Flag,
Yeah. I like Wizards. I could see because LeBron and AD have been working together, and then who you mentioned, while team with Kyrie, maybe you could teach Cooper Flag with some tips and let. We know Cooper Flag will probably his growth will start to keep going over time. And see what he can do as in Dallas.
he just needs someone to like mentor him, like LeBron be a good mentor for him. So
And then you have LeBron going to Washington, Bonsa. You can mentor him. Heck, his dad felt like his son is like a little LeBron. So who knows? So why not get taught from the man himself? If I had a team, let's just say if it's any of these teams, what would be an interesting team to go to? Yeah. Oh, I'll just say when I have the blue, why not Houston? Why not LeBron help Durant win a ring? I don't know how those two will work, coexist. But if you think of the lineup with Fred VanVleet, or even LeBron could be a point guard, then you got Thompson, Durant, Jabari Parker, and Sengun. I mean, sure, because it's like if LeBron goes to Miami, Giannis wants the ball, LeBron wants the ball, we're gonna give it to you. You know, so it kind of the same sense here. We get a Durant, you give it to LeBron. Sure, I don't know how those two will work together, but it would be interesting. That would be like an interesting team out of the blue, of course, if Houston were able to do that. But anyone watching, what do you think if, let's just say, LeBron doesn't join the Warriors, because that's been the most fantasized thing as a kid, I guess we've been all imagining. Maybe. No, I guess it's just me.
I've just never liked him. Ever like.
No, of course.
I never, as a Warriors fan, as a basketball fan, I just don't like him.
All right, but we always maybe have. I guess I might be the one that always had that fantasy. If could enemies could be friend and enemies because LeBron wants to play with Curry. But what are you? People are watching or see this later. What team you see LeBron could enter? But if you out of the three teams, Philly. I know you guys answered it, but let's just get one full answer here. Out of Philly, Cleveland, and Miami, what's the team you see?
Yeah, for me, it's still either Cavs or Heat, but it's probably going to be more likely the Cavs.
Cavs.
I'm gonna say Cavs.
All right. I feel like too. I think that's just a good farewell. If
It's a good farewell, you know.
If he ends up retiring the following year.
Like Kyle Lowry did with the Raptors, but
yeah. You mentioned the Raptors. You just got me thinking. So remember that breaking news on
Kawhi
going to Toronto? Well, that's on
apparently
hold.
an investigation.
Yeah. Apparently, the NBA is like not so fast, Kawhi. As right now, the recent news that the NBA, but with the FBI, are on the investigation on Kawhi, specifically him. Maybe not just the Clippers, but before he can flee the country, you could say, he is under investigation. So, Drew, do you have more of the story to share?
I know there was investigation about salary cap. There was investigation on the salary cap circumvention. That was the allegation wise, and it's just crazy that the NBA say, we can postpone the trade, and you know it's kind of crazy that you already did your trades but I guess not so fast, my friend. So apparently, yeah, it was about, if you guys didn't know, last year, or maybe I don't know, it was last year or the year before, they had an investigation with a company called Aspiration, which was a team. It was a deal. It was a company that was negotiating with the Clippers. With especially with Steve Ballmer, all of that stuff. So it's just maddening happening. It's just a crazy thing. We wouldn't expect an investigation, even the trade is already been through, but not official yet. But yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, and also the interesting thing about it is they're doing this like days after, like I don't know how many, I don't know if it was like days or like a week or just about something like that, but they're just waiting on like a little bit, and then all of a sudden they bring this up. It's just, I think it's very interesting, and I don't know when they're gonna come out with like more news, but yeah, it's kind of an uncertainty, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit uncertain. So we'll have hopefully more news to share. I mean, in our next episode if it comes around. Well, we know the World Cup's been happening. Everyone's been enjoying that. But you know what's else been happening? Tennis. Specifically, another grand tournament, the Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, yeah.
Wimbledon. And as we know, in the last tournament, a German player named Zverev.
Zverev.
I'm sorry for butchering the name. He won the last tournament. He was not the oldest player, or one of the oldest players. I think that won this tournament. There's some history about that. But he is in the semifinals in men's singles, and as they will play tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. If you're up early. Taking on a British player named Ferry. So, heck, we'll see if the German can maybe back to back, because if he prevails in this match, on the other side, the great Djokovic, he's in the semis. He'll take on right now the current number one player in the world from Italy named Sinner. Or Sinner.
No, it's Sinner.
Sinner. Yeah, they're right.
Yeah. So,
usually Alcaraz would be in the spot, but I believe
he's dealing with injury.
Ruled himself out, so he was injured, so he couldn't really play in it.
Okay. But what are you guys' thoughts? Could we have a Djokovic? Do you think Djokovic got one left in him to perhaps maybe win this?
I think this will be the more interesting matchup to watch, because Zverev, he's facing an unranked opponent, but Djokovic is one of the best tennis players to ever play the game. Some people argue him as the greatest of all time, and Sinner is ranked number one in the world. So it's two of the best going at it, because Sinner is one of the best modern day tennis players. That's still very young. Who is also very competitive with Alcaraz, but at the same time, you got Djokovic, who's won a bunch of championships, has won some Wimbledons, and I think it'll be very interesting. Now, if you're on the East Coast time, the match starts at 8:30, but if you're on the West Coast, it starts at 5:30.
Sorry, apologize with that. But yeah, so I think if Djokovic wins this, he might as well just retire. I'll say that.
And that's what people are speculating.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, Sinner is always one of the best, best upcoming stars. So with Alcatraz, and those two always have a battle. But Alcatraz is dealing with a wrist injury, so he should be in the spot. But Djokovic versus Sinner, always a great match. Battle till the end. Maybe be a 5-hour match. Who knows? But it's gonna be a good game. And it's gonna be a good match. So we'll see if it goes back to back.
We'll see what happens. But as we're in the men's, there's the women's, and that's the title of our banner. Something to talk about. In women's, as you know, we have two Czechoslovakians going at it for the finale. Unfortunately, a U.S. player didn't. And as Coco, she has been eliminated and lost in the last set against a Slovakian player named Muchova. She wins the last set, and Muchova's ranked 10. Coco's at 7, so a little seed upset, you could say. But what are you guys'? I mean, we didn't see the matches, but what are just your thoughts?
Yeah. So I watched the end of it while I was at the gym, while I was on the treadmill, and I just noticed how during serves, she would still hit the nets. I think they're called double faults. I think specifically. But there was just times where she would keep doing that, and she would kind of lose herself. And then she had this one point where like she had like a wide open court, and if she just swats it in a certain direction, then she wins the match. But then she swatted right into the net, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, how did you miss that?" Because usually I don't watch tennis matches that much, but like seeing like Coco Gauff, because Coco Gauff, she's I believe 22 or 24 years old, and she's never won a Wimbledon, and she's ranked one of the best in the entire world. So I was really hoping that she would finally get to go to the Wimbledon final, but she came up short.
So hopefully we're rooting for her. Eventually, hopefully she has this breakthrough, and finally, I don't like. Does anyone know the career? So has she ever won?
Yeah, she's won. Yeah, she's won the. Excuse me, I believe she's won the French Open.
I've seen tennis. I also seen tennis, but it's been a while.
It's been a while too.
But hold up.
Let's see. Yeah, she won the French Open and she won the U.S. Open.
Okay, so she won.
U.S. Open was in 2023. The French Open was in 2025.
Okay, so she won recent. She runs a recent tournament. The Wimbledon has been, you could say, kryptonite.
Fairness is the best finish in Wimbledon, so
at least, okay. So hopefully she has her breakthrough in that. But anyway, just continuing on with this, I mentioned 2 Czechoslovakians. So we done Muchova and then another player that's being a Ukrainian named that was ranked 12th. A Ukrainian player that was ranked 12th in the world. She lost in a complete set, two sets to none. But she loses to a player that's 9th, that's also Czechoslovakian, named Noskova. So, you guys, if you want to choose, do you want to go Muchova or Noskova? If you just,
if I had to pick one,
you picked one. Since the women's finale is happening this Saturday.
I would go with Moskova.
Moskova, yeah.
Because the other chick beat
Coco.
All right. Revenge. We want revenge. You know, it's a friendly matchup in a way. But who wants it all? All right, folks. It's time. The World Cup. As we know, I mentioned earlier, France. Moving on to the semifinals. Easy work on Morocco. Rematch of the 2022 of the previous year World Cup semis. But we got much more else to talk about. Yes, we know. Well, there's definitely one thing to talk about. But first, we got to start with this. It is the farewell of the great Ronaldo, as he played his last match, losing in a heartbreaking ending to Spain, 1-0 at the last moment.
As a Spain fan, I don't know about heartbreaking, but okay.
Portugal?
Well, I mean for Portugal, but for at least him, because as you know, earlier through the month, he did say this would be his last, and Spain handed to him, so here you go, your ticket home. But it just feels like, Ronaldo set the whole. He holds the most goals, most international goals, with I think 136, if I'm right. And it's just, it's pretty big because as we know, we're coming to an end. Neymar took on Norway. Norway beats Brazil. And that's it for Neymar. And then a bunch of other players that's been around for at least for a while. And this is kind of a closing chapter, so it's pretty big here because we don't know about Messi. Who knows? He could maybe one more. It's up to him. But at least for Ronaldo here, at the age of 41, this is it. So, what are just your thoughts? I mean, how much have you seen Ronaldo? If you could say, or any thoughts, or any other.
I mean, be honest, Ronaldo's been one of the greatest of all time for football. It sucks to say the word football as an American, but it's called football. He's one of the greatest players to ever touch football. And I saw him in his prime with Madrid, Real Madrid times, the battle with Messi. Those always a great game. And, you know, he didn't win a World Cup. He made Portugal a big time. He made him big time. Made Portugal a big time country. Like Portugal was nothing without before Ronaldo. Now it became something because of Ronaldo. So it's gonna be hard for Portugal to replace Ronaldo. You know, all the skills he brought and just the fans he brought in. So it's gonna be hard to touch, but you know, he's done it internationally, but he's not done professionally. So you know, it's just, yeah, he's one of the greatest ever touch football. So
Yeah, I watched Ronaldo for many many years. He's one of the first players I just like grew up watching, like playing soccer, and I like watch some guys from Spain, like all some of those guys, and even like USA players. But like Ronaldo was like the one guy I first started watching when I first started learning about soccer. And now seeing that he's retired after all these years, he had a phenomenal career. He was one of the greatest to ever play the game. It's just unfortunate that he didn't win a World Cup. And people are like gonna be like, "Oh yeah, man, Messi, he won the World Cup and all that stuff." But like, I just Ronaldo had a great career, and he gave all the soccer fans many great memories. So he's gonna be missed.
Yeah, he'll definitely be missed. As you know, he's kind of one. He's kind of like, as I say, Messi's like Curry. This is like the LeBron of it all. So it's kind of like we're entering, as I mentioned earlier before, we're entering that time of just like these great players that have been carrying, at least keep. I mean, soccer's been excited through a long time, but just just comparing with Ronaldo and Messi on just like their growth on like how they kind of kept the game exciting, and just to see a farewell and bit and not to even win a World Cup with such great, just with just like the great ability. Sorry, spitball there a bit, but Ronaldo though, thank you. Well, hopefully we'll miss you, and hopefully soccer can try to live on.
I trust Speed. He's crying behind this.
But on to the day at hand. There are also big games, but we got to talk about it. All three have been defeated. Canada, hold up. They get beat up by Morocco, losing 4-0 after being so aggressive in the first half just to lose it all in the second half. But heck, for Canada, I feel like it's a success. People already know they at least got this far. Mexico. There's been a lot of sword-fighting clashes. Pretty much people just going after legs to try to end their careers. But at the end of it all, Mexico took on England. It went to the very end. England survives. Because I want to say survive because knowing Mexico and playing at the heart of their own country in front of those fans, they fought to the end. I give them credit for fighting. I was rooting for England, but I just know Mexico's going to win this somehow. And almost they did. England almost made the biggest mistake in their whole franchise or legacy of having an own goal. Because I just know I feel like you do not want to face Mexico in extra time. They pretty much would have won that. But I guess luck of the draw, and England survived, Mexico eliminated. As for the good old USA, I don't know what happened. I don't know, we just got overexcited, but this has been a trend. Yes, this is probably the furthest we ever been because we know what happened last World Cup. We meet the Dutch and we get beat up, and that's that. At least for our coach, he got us a one more push. Sure, all the expectation, at least get to the quarterfinals and meet Spain, and you know get that type of score on us. And be like, that's fine because we got to where we need to go. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and USA just got pretty much embarrassed in front of Seattle, which is like one of the loudest stadiums, and yeah, it was heart wrenching because we felt like just a little bit more like I know it's been this trend we can't beat European teams. We can beat South American teams, but when it comes to the Europe, especially a team of Belgium that has only a population of New York City, that's what I heard, and they got US of A. It's crazy. I mean, props to the Belgium Waffles of Belgium, the Red Devils they are. That's their nickname, in case you guys didn't know. I'll hand it to them. They get us an ass whooping. So let's break it down. Let's talk about Canada real quick. What happened with Canada?
Canada pretty much got curb stomped in their game, and nothing you can really not a whole lot you can really do about it. I mean, Canada wasn't expected to get this far, so I would say they still fought very well. They just had to figure out something else.
Yeah, I think no one expected Canada to go that far in the tournament. Kind of shows that they fought, and that's what about just people experiencing these type of moments. So, but yeah, I mean they pushed Morocco to pretty much the brink, and then Marcus caught them when they needed the most. So
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, just breaking all these teams sum up. But for Canada, I felt a little confident. I feel like Canada, could they do this? And there was the way it started. Like, oh, they're getting chances. They're attacking the Morocco side. They're having chances, and they're playing like really aggressive when on defense. But the issue of that is, if you're going to play that aggressive, you better score. Because then you might be, I don't know if you got fatigued or what, but you just got pretty much slapped in the face in the second half and pretty much just got annihilated. I mean, Morocco's a hell of a team. So, I mean, Morocco's a tough team to face, But at least for Canada, it's a success. They got this far, and we'll see how it is in the near future for them. On to the country south of the border, Mexico. As I said, I give them effort. They fought to the end. They know with that crowd, they know they have to. They just got to keep fighting. England, I know some people might say they may be a little overrated, or maybe a little overhyped. I don't know, overhyped, whatever's your opinion on it. But England, they won it. I mean, sure, they almost coughed it up on that almost own goal near the end. But there's something else specifically. This might have been, of course, the most cinematic sort of game we have seen just play in this tournament. I know you got Capo Verde, Argentina, went to extras. That's crazy too. But just in regular 90 minutes of soccer, that game was quite epic. So let's break it down. I know, Jack, you got something to say, so might as well spill it.
Well, I got a lot to say for the USA game, but for this game though, it was a really good. I will say it was a really good game.
You know what? You have any thoughts specifically on a certain call?
Oh yeah, there was like this there was this moment. I believe it was like either the first penalty kick or second one for Mexico, and like there's this guy that was like trying to get the ball. The Mexico guy comes out of nowhere, tries to kick in, and they call it a penalty. I think that was one of the worst calls. And like I know a lot about soccer. I've played the game and everything else. But that was just, I'm just, the refs did everything they could to try to have Mexico win. Like, I don't know if the cartel was knocking on the refs' door or whatever, but there was definitely some horrible officiating in that match.
For me, it was a great game. England got caught with a red card. Great game. Didn't expect Jude Bellingham scored 2 goals in like 2 minute span. That was like a kind of silence in the mouth. But at least Mexico had some comp for once bit. Like yeah, they didn't score, they didn't allow any goals, but like like who do they face like adversity wise, and like who made it, like, I guess, made it tough for them. Besides, yeah, at least they had some comp, I guess better composition, so a stronger team. So it kind of show. I mean, no doubt Mexico fans are passionate, all around, and it's they gave it all. They gave it all to the end. So credit to England. Just hopefully nowhere can beat them.
Yeah. And I said country down south, just say our neighbor down south. Um, this has been their issue, and I keep saying this. They just can't beat good teams. I mean, this could be a learning experience. You take on England, as you know, England, you got, you know, that's soccer as itself. And I just know they just can't. I mean, they fought to the end, as we all have been saying. Like, fought. Oh my heck, we're gonna round of applause for them. Like, see him applauding to the crowd. Y'all fought violently to the end, no matter the bruises and the scars you might have taken from this game. But you had some competition. But at least this will be a learning experience. But I just know, and overall with this team, they just can't face good teams. But at least with this, they fought to the end, and hopefully they can take it as a learning experience. They got their coach. That coach, that's their guy. If they can learn from this, who knows? Maybe they can make a pretty deep run. We'll see. But and then England Norway Saturday is going to be a thriller. So we'll see how that pans out at the end. But let's go to our good old US of A. As we know, there was a lot of hype, or at least a lot of excitement with, we tried Burkhalter for a bit. He wasn't really panning out. It wasn't like getting us that push for this team. As we know, people says it's the golden age of soccer. They're like, this is it. But I guess they've been saying that for the past 20 years. And now there's just this drought, or I don't know what. I mean, these players, in case you guys don't know, most of these players play in
Europe,
England, Spain, Germany, you name it, they've been there. They play over there when it's not comes to international.
International, yeah.
So, and you just think with all that player, that young talent, you figured maybe this is the team to at least not try to win all the way, but at least this could be a team we can at least be proud of, and at least try to at least make it deep enough. Because in the Men's World Cup, you can tell it's really competitive, and we have a competitive team. But just a game like this, a lot of questions. I would say one thing: I don't blame. Our manager, he's our guy. We'll see.
I don't blame him.
We'll see what the decision is: keep him or not, if he'll stay or not. So he's not what to blame. At this point, we might as well just blame the players. Pulisic, he's getting injury prone. He just bruised his leg, or perhaps broke his leg in the match against Belgium. Of course, we'll talk about that goalie decision, playing that far out of the box, having a toe drag worst moment or something. Who knows what happened? And I mean, yeah, it's just a lot of these players. I don't know. Maybe it's just all this excitement. It's just maybe we're just maybe it was false hope, you could say. So yeah, what's your thoughts on this game, or just about the USA of soccer, just where we're at? True.
Yeah, I got a lot to say about this. USA was they played well in the World Cup. I'll say that, but was it a success? I don't really feel like it was. If
Yeah,
you
I
if
agree.
you like beat Belgium and then you lost to Spain, I would have had no issue with that because it was just expected. Belgium came into your country and threw you around like you were rag dolls, and they pretty much and they were laughing in front of Americans, and we couldn't do a damn thing. And whoever the goalie is, he might need to be like sent to like the gulag or somewhere like that because that was one of the worst goalie performances I have ever seen in my life. I've played goalie, like I know how it is, but some of the the stuff that he did, and the fact that he went way out of the box and just like was screwing around and just like kicked it in a random direction to a player and then they scored a goal. I think that might have been one of the worst things ever.
You didn't like kick it around the player. I mean, apparently, actually, my dad actually told me what actually happened. He actually was trying to dribble it to his dominant leg to boot it. But at the time he did that, when he tried switching, he was trying to like switch it and then kick. But when he did that whole motion so fast, that's when he got the whole like toe drag thing. His cleat dragged. And then by that time you have a player like right next to you, and then you kind of just panic to know like what to do. And then you panic, you make bad decision, and that pretty much was the nail.
I mean, but it's like, come on, you're the goalie for the United States of America. They need to start putting off like tryouts for the goalie position for USA in the next World Cup. And you know what? If I can like lose weight and all that stuff, and that spot actually happens, I'm gonna try it out. I'm not joking. The one time that I DM'd like a USA baseball, I might do the same thing to United States men's soccer because the way that he was playing a goalie was atrocious. It was a joke. Like when we were playing FC like football, and he was playing deep, and he was playing like a wall in the game, and all of a sudden he just turns into like a slug. I think he looked like a disgrace of a goalie. The defense also was horrible, and just everything the way the team and Team USA men's was playing, I felt like they just didn't want to do that.
Drew?
I think the effort was terrible. I mean, terrible on both sides of the ball. Like, especially the defense. You know, you know, Mr. Himes. What was the effort? Like, it felt like you didn't want to be there, and like you didn't want it more, and like where was that dog in you? Like, you just let Belgium just you know silence us pretty much, and like I don't know, were you like not prepared or like you got distracted because of the Balgan situation? Like what was going on? Like the players, like what was going on in your mind? Like that was not U.S. soccer. That was like a JV team right there, and like McKinney could have done better.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
just these just keep talking like it's like blame the goalie, but I think it's just the entirety of this team at this point.
even you look at the manager with the effort, when the Belgium scored, like he was just pissed at the effort. Like it's just, I think it's not the manager's fault, guys. It's just the players. I think you got distracted with the Belgian situation. I think I guess it took Belgium too lightly. They thought Spain was next, so it's just it's shameful. But I guess our manager did one thing better than Ball Arthur. So
Yeah, like as you know, like as Jack as what Drew said, like he was upset. He wasn't like he was like upset. Was he a little ashamed, maybe? But yeah, it's just like I think we might need to like I don't know if it's recruiting or we just might need to almost reset a little bit.
I feel like we need to put investment in our country to make sure these guys are prepared for these moments.
Because I feel like sometimes I've been thinking, I wonder if they actually had a game plan if Balogun wasn't,
Playing.
yeah, if he wasn't playing. Because I felt like the way I caught in, I got the, like, I saw the goals, like, oh, wow, Belgium scored within 10 minutes. And then they scored again. And then, hey, we scored. And then I came in, and I'm like, oh. Because the way everyone played, it's almost like, kind of like, oh, wait, now our best striker on our team is actually back. Well, we're preparing to know maybe he wasn't going to because having a red card last match is a suspension the following. So it's like it felt like we were ready for that, but then this popped up. They were happy about it, but something happened because like sure, perhaps USA can't beat Europe teams. It's we can't compete in that level, but we go to the Gold Cup, we can beat like most of those South American teams. That's not Argentina and Uruguay. It's like
Or Brazil.
But like we can compete though, because this after having such a happy start 4-1 on Paraguay, and then we finally maybe it was a little chippy match, but we got the win in the Bay, taking on Herzegovina.
Another European team.
And now another European team's like, oh, look, we cut the streak. But now it's like, okay, now you got Belgium. And you're like, okay, because Belgium, honestly, they should have lost to Senegal. I'm just going to go. If we're just going to go after Belgium real quick, we know they should have lost that. I don't know what happened. We would have gotten Senegal. Then we'll see. Because if we play like that, Senegal will probably beat us like 6-0.
4-0. At least
4-0. Heck, they probably do 6-0 on us. It's just. It's a little irritating if you've been watching your country play for so long. You got the Dempseys, you got that era, which was great. But then you see trying this new chapter, and we've been on this stretch with this team from now to peering to World Cup, then peering to one just to lose. And now we kind of thought, at least, like with this coach, at least give us a push. At least to the quarterfinals, because that's what all the criticizers of U.S. soccer, that of course have played the sport, but they've been thinking if we at least get to the quarter, it's a success. Because at least, all right, we have the direction. But now it's like, well, we were one match shy, but now you're kind of thinking, well, at least we got out of the round of 32. But it's like we feel like we know we should have went a little further. I know Belgium, sure, it's a pretty tough team, but it's not as tough as you would have faced like England, like all the Europeans who are playing, France, England, all those countries. I mean, Belgium sure is probably up there, as they were ranked in the top 10, but it's just like you just can't be European sport. So people that are watching or seeing this later, what are your thoughts on just the USA team? But what's your thoughts even about the World Cup, too?
Good game this coming week.
Yeah. So before we conclude. As we know, semifinals has begun, and we'll have Spain and Belgium. So of course, we're all rooting for you, Jack. Your country hopefully beat them like 4-0 or something.
Hopefully, we beat the crap out of them.
But what are you guys'? I know we probably got Spain. We'll probably have Spain and France. But what do you have on the other side?
Argentina. I don't like the fans. The fans are racist. That's crap. I think Egypt should have been in this position instead of Argentina. I know I like Messi, but like
actually, since you mentioned that, let's talk about that before we conclude. Yeah, if you guys saw that Argentina game, I caught some of it, but Egypt, they played great. I don't know what happened, sure, Messi went goat mode and just
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I
Refs-
mean,
the refs,
the rest
the
was.
refs seriously need to be investigated after that game.
yeah. Let's just share. Let's do a light touch on this, on the whole fiasco in the second half, because you feel like something just felt iffy.
Well, I didn't like really watch like the full match, but I watched like highlights of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how you like called that kind of a penalty on the other side of the field, and like some time went by, and then you just call it, and then you call it anyway, even when the guy scores.
Yes.
I don't get it.
The call foul when Ichibari scored. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, just the refs. These refs have been not consistent and been terrible.
I think there's that, but what really made it like hang on is there was a certain I think the goal you mentioned became a VAR review, and they decided I don't know the VAR. I didn't see it, but there's been a little talks on this VAR review on Egypt's second goal or something. Of course, it got it.
Of course, they
got
scored
called
back.
They scored. They rebounded and scored back, but there was it got called back. Do you guys know why? Oh
They
yeah,
call foul.
yeah, they called a foul deep in Argentina, deep in their own side of the field in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I explained. Yeah.
Yeah, they called. They saw like, hang on. They look. They went. They instead of just focusing on usually like, oh, it's an offside or maybe the guy grabbed or something. No, this is interesting. They don't do this. They actually took it from start to finish.
I think the VAR is ruining the game of soccer.
Speak more on that.
Yeah, it's just because back then you wouldn't get calls like that, and the game would just continue, and you wouldn't have to look at that. And this is also like ruins like even some other matches, including Croatia against who did Croatia play against?
Portugal?
Yeah, the call between Portugal and Croatia, where like the guy apparently like part of his hair like just touched the ball, and they used like some sensitive thing. I think that's complete bullshit, and I think they should get rid of it and just stick to original soccer and how it was. Because VAR, like some countries like it, but I just know it's not good for the game.
Or maybe they should, get rid of it, or I feel like maybe just try to fix it. That's my thought on it.
Yeah.
I say really try to fix the thing, not get rid of it completely. Because let's just say if something on a team were like, we got Croatia, but let's just say it was the other way around, and then we get that, we would probably be acting the same. So I feel like they just need to find a way to fix it. That's my thoughts on that. But back to, I got my final, England-Spain. I know we got the semis, so we'll talk about that before the finale. But what's your semifinals? So let's going back to that.
Let's see. France against Spain.
France, Spain,
Then,
Norway, Argentina.
England against Argentina.
Yeah, England, Argentina.
I got Norway.
Yeah, Norway. I mean, it's tough rooting against Norway.
The Rube. Anthony, you the Rube.
But yeah, I gotta I'm kind of living on the hype with England. It's gotten me this far. It got Norway. So a little tough. Definitely a little tougher.
Just watch England just lose to Norway after having drawn adversity. It's like, oh, that's a team that can go to the final. Just didn't lose to Norway.
Actually, that's the other thing. Like, I'm rooting for England, but could we say Norway could maybe win this? Could we say?
Yeah, I think they can.
I mean,
They're going to go to the finals.
Mbappe wants Messi. Spain is the favorite. England trying to finally add something. I mean, they haven't won this in the 60s or 70s. So it's like they're trying to at least, all right, we got one more here finally after that many years.
I think Norway can definitely go to the finals.
And then go to Argentina trying to do the back-to-back, which hasn't happened since.
Holland's just got to keep scoring if he's going to lead it.
since France did it in 96. So, like, 94, 96. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's our thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. And, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed our episode, and we'll see you next time.